learning change. See, there are things you can believe until you learn better. And then when you learn better, you're able to respond better. It strengthens your answers. It strengthens how you are able to move in the world. And it corrects the weak things in your life so that when you move through the world, somebody can tell that you've been studying. I often think about Dr. King, and I said he lived to be 39. Well, he got killed, murdered at 39. And if you think about it, Dr. King was in school for 12 plus 3 plus 5, right? He was in school for 20 years, almost 21 years of schooling for about 9 years of service. You know, think about that. He had to be prepared and strengthened for the journey. And so I was thinking about how here at Sally B. Howard, I was looking and I thought about Mary McLeod Bethune when she said, we have a powerful potential in our youth, and we must have the courage to change old ideas and old practices so that we may direct the youth's power toward good ends. If you want our youth to be better, you can't blame them, it's on us.
That's right, that's right.
Huh? Somebody used to say, our young people don't know anything about history. Well, what have you taught them?
That's right.
That's the question. That's the question. Dr. King said the function of education is to teach one to think intensively, not just to think. See, some people think, but they don't think too long. That's why they do some of the stuff they do. You can never say, I didn't think before I did that. It's impossible. You can't do anything without a thought. But what you can do is do things before you think intensively and think long. He said the role of education is to teach people to think intensively and to think critically. God knows, I saw that press conference today, and I'm so glad, GK, I can think critically, because otherwise I'd be believing what that man said. He's the president, and you know, he does. I would believe him that it's all right to cut $3 trillion more money that was taken from the slaves and given to the slave masters. It's all right in the 21st century to cut $3 trillion and give it to the wealthy. If we didn't know how to think critically. It says it's to think intensively, to think critically, intelligence plus character. That must be the true goal of education. And that's what's so important about the arts, the great poetry of the Harlem Renaissance, the great songs, because not only is it about poetry, it's about character. That Langston Hughes, remember when he said, America has never been America to me, but I swear this oath that America shall be. We, the people, must take back our mighty dream. A lot of people don't know that. That's part of where Dr. King got I Have a Dream speech from the poem that Langston Hughes wrote in the Harlem Renaissance in 1934-35. Yeah. And it had all of this character in it. And so here at Sally B. Howard, as I've looked at it, Sister Woodard, you all inspire learning. And I want to say 3 things, and I'm going to walk behind these curtains. You inspire learning by loving.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's one of the ways you inspire loving. When I heard the young man on the tape said, I'm leaving one family to come to another. I'm not leaving home to go to school. I'm leaving home to go to family. And you teach kids to love themselves. You teach them to love learning. You teach them, particularly the African-American children, and even others that are not of African-American. You teach the African-American children that it was their great-great-great-great-great-granddaddies that founded calculus, so don't say you can't learn math. But then you also teach other children who may not be African-American that things that they might not know about history and the involvement and the importance of Africa and Egypt in our lives as a world. You teach them to love the arts. You teach them to love the art. But not only that, you learn. You teach learning. Or as my grandmama said, you learn folks something. You learn them by lifting. I've always been impressed by the school that You all didn't cherry pick. You know, a lot of folk want to form schools so they can cherry pick. Cherry pick means you form a school, and that's what's happening sometimes with some people, not here, but there's some people, they use charter schools and then they go out and cherry pick the kids. In other words, they use it as a form of resegregation. You haven't done that, right? And thank God. Or they go out and they pick and they say only these kids from this family or that family can come here. But you help people to learn, children to learn by lifting them. No matter where you come from. Sally B. Howard says you can learn. You lift their vision. You lift them to think about biotechnology, not when they get to college, but even while they're in high school. You lift them. You lift them. You lift them. And we need our children to be lifted. We need our children to be lifted until they're like the bumblebee. You know what about the bumblebee, you know, somebody saw a bumblebee flying around, and some physicists and aviation people at NASA said the bumblebee shouldn't be flying. They said, we studied it, he's too fat, and his wingspan isn't right. He got short little wings, fat little body, and according to the nature of physics, his wingspan has to be longer and broader for the bumblebee to fly. Well, somebody had learned the bumblebee something. Somebody had lifted the bumblebee. And somebody had taught the bumblebee, you might be a little bit fat and your wings might be a little bit too small, but maybe if you beat them a little faster, you might be able to get elevation. And so, thank God, the bumblebee had somebody teaching him what he could do when others were only hypothesizing what he shouldn't be able to do. And Sally B. Howard, you do that all the time. And then, Sally B. Howard, you do learning and you have done learning in this community by lasting. Not only by loving, not only by lifting, but by lasting. You've lasted when folk thought you were going to have to close your doors. Y'all don't hear me. You've lasted when people talked about you. You've lasted when they didn't understand the vision. And that's how, and that in itself is a way of teaching children how to endure. The race doesn't go to the swiftest nor the strongest, but to those that endure unto the end. You have beat the odds. You've lasted. When folk have said this will be the last year, some of them died and you're still here. You've lasted. Brother Howard has lasted. And then there's one final way of learning, and that is by looking. Not only by loving, not only by lifting, not only by lasting, but by looking. And that's when you look at the world around you and you see the realities. And then you look at the children that you have and you say what the slaves said every time a child was born, maybe this is the one. I'm going up tomorrow and speak to about 2,000 children in a pre-rally for this march. They're not letting adults speak at the big march, but some of them asked, would I come and speak tomorrow to a pre-march about 2,000 children? And I'm going to tell them, I'm going to look at them. You know, maybe they're the ones. GK, we've been having a heck of a time with this NRA, but maybe these children are the ones.
That's right.
Maybe if we turn them loose, some of the politicians will recover their idealism. And some of the politicians will say, I'd rather vote for right even if I lose the next election. But maybe again you won't lose because we'll create a whole new electorate. Sometimes you got to look. The deliverer might be a child and you didn't expect. Pain might produce power. Hurt might produce healing. Struggle might produce strength. And Sally B. Howard, in this school, you've been looking. And those children walk through the door. You don't see them as just children. You don't see them as just the ones that can help you meet your daily attendance record.
Right.
You say, maybe that's just the one.
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe if we do some biotechnology, we might be able to raise up the one that finds an answer to cancer. Maybe that's the one.
That's right.
Maybe if we We raise these students right and train them right in the arts and in sciences and teach them how to read. And they mess around one day and shake the hand of G.K. Butterfield. They might be the next Obama from Wilson. You know, I don't know. I'm just saying. And then you look at them. You don't look at them. They don't come in here valedictorian. And the other thing you do is you look at them, and even if they don't come out of here as valedictorian, if you can get them to do their best, you can get them to be strong. And I love a school that doesn't just, you don't just tout the ones that get the 3.8s and 3.9. That's great. But you look at every child as being valuable. Valuable to history. Valuable to the future. Valuable in the sight of God. Who knows? Who knows what might be coming out of Sally B. Howard? Who knows what's on the way? Who knows, Sister Woodard, what you're handling?
That's right.
Right now. Teachers, who knows? I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what some student that might come here the next 10 years, you've been here 20 years, who knows? Who knows? But all I want you to do is keep doing what my grandmother said. You learn these children something. You keep learning them. And there's no telling where God will lift them. You keep learning them. There's no telling how God will use them. And make sure, as my daddy taught me, you not only teach them the math and the science and the art, but help them to learn what my daddy called the ABCs of life. And help them every day to take the A and accept the challenge of every day. Help them to take the B and be all they can be. Help them to take the C and count their blessings. Help them take the D and do right. Help them take the E and ever strive for excellence. Help them take the F and fight on. Help them take the G and get going with God. Help them take the H and learn to help somebody. Help them take the I and inspire somebody. Help them take the J and just say no to negative. Help them take the K and keep on keeping on. Help them take the L and learn to love. Help them take the M and move mountains with the faith of a mustard seed. Help them take the N and say no to the negatives of life. Help them take the O and overcome their obstacles. Help them take the P and put their best foot forward. Help them take the Q and quit quitting. You learn these children something. Help them take the R and run their race. Help them take the S and stand for something or they'll fall for anything. Learn these children, like my grandmama said. Help them take the T and try, and if they fail, get up and try again. Help them take the U and use what they have to get what they need. Help them take the V and visualize their own potential. Help them take the W and walk hard and walk with God every day. Help them take the Y and yearn to be all they can be. I missed one. Help them take the X and x-ray their own life and not worry about what other people are doing. And then help them take the Z and know that wherever they go, God knows their zip code and they're never outside of His zip code.